Welcome to Overcome Yourself, the podcast, where we rewrite stories, shift mindsets, and make dreams come true. I'm your host, Nicole Tuxbury. Let's get into today's episode. Hello there, and welcome back to the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here with B-Side, I guess, Robert, aka B-Side. So welcome. I keep wanting to say Robert. Welcome, B-Side.
Oh, that's all good. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, I'm super excited to have you here. I want you to go ahead and take it away. We got to hear your story straight from you. Tell us a little bit about who you are and who you help.
Sure. Well, I started, let's see. I was born in 1983. I'll start there. So,
Cool.
and then came from like a normal family. Everything was cool until my dad left us. And then we ended up moving in with my mom's mom, my nonna. And then what happened is in high school and stuff like that, I ended up getting into hip hop music. So by the end of high school, I was really into wanting to do music. I didn't do college. I didn't do anything like that. I just went full on with wanting to go do my music and have that be my way of life. I mean, I've held odd jobs and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but music, that's my main passion. So after high school, I started managing a heavy metal band, kind of
cool.
funny. So I got them shows and stuff like that. And then I was working on my own music at that time. So I'm like, I think it's time to come out with something. I graduated in 2001. 2003 comes around. I come out with my very first solo album. And my fan base is, have you ever heard of the Insane Clown Posse before? Are you serious? Wow.
I was
Okay.
18. I was 18 when I got it. I
That,
just showed him my tattoo, which I have on my chest. But
okay.
yeah,
Well,
so I have heard of them.
there you go. That's what's up. So that is my fan base. Like that's who I promote to, and that's what I've been in since my adult life is just being involved with ICP and like the Juggalo culture and doing my music. And then I was uh I was doing shows. So around 2005, I would say. You know who Project Born is? The first act that they signed on Psychopathic Records back in the
I do
90s.
not. I do
You
not.
don't? Okay. So they had signed a group of dudes back in the 90s called Project Born,
Mhm.
and they had gone off on their own. They came out with one album on Psychopathic back in like 96, I think it was 95, 96. So they came out with an album, but they're still around. They still do stuff. So I was at this show with them, and one of the guys from Project Born, Polk, he got up to me after the show. He's like, yo, we need to exchange numbers. I want to do something with you, blah, 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 this and that. So I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And we ended up linking up. I ended up moving to Flint, Michigan for a while. I lived
Mhm.
out there with them. And it was just crazy. We went on the road, did all these shows and stuff. And, ICP, it's always been like uh, uh, 2 degrees of separation. That I've
Mhm.
never like been like good with ICP. Like I've never like met them and chopped it up with them before, but I'm always like a degree away from them, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense. So it's so crazy to me. And we were doing shows. I've been as far as like California doing shows. And then what I never realized is as I was working at my normal job at Subway, my whole left arm started going numb.
Uh-oh.
And I never really thought about it. I always thought I had a pinched nerve. So
Mhm.
I'm just like, oh, damn, this pinched nerve. So I just kept on working with it, working with it. So around 2011 comes, and this is, when I'm really trying to come out with an album and really trying to make my mark. it was going to be like promoted and I was going to go on the road with it and everything. But I got diagnosed with MS when I was 28. It was it was 2011, and they gave me the diagnosis. The problem is the doctor that gave me the diagnosis here where I live in Utica, New York,
Mhm.
is we don't have the best healthcare system. So the guy didn't describe it to me, what it entailed. He said, here, take these shots, but we've broken up since. And so I was with her, and she's like, oh yeah, we'll stick it out, this and that. And yeah, so I mean, long story short, what happens is I start getting a little bit worse because they give me these shots. The medication's not really working too well. So um they my dad actually stepped in, and he's like, there's this world-renowned MS center in Rochester, New York, at the University of Rochester. And actually, one of my father's friends has a wing of the hospital named after his family. So he's like, I can get you in this place. So I went to this place, and just seeing this place is absolutely phenomenal. Just to see how much more modern and everything that it was. When I went there, they did the same tests on me that they did in Utica, and the MRIs in Utica looked like a 1950s TV. In Rochester, it looked like a 4K HD, full on
Wow.
crazy crystal clear. And my doctor, she's able to tell me like, oh, it's in your spine, you don't have that much in your brain. And I attribute it to the MS in my spine is why I'm numb on my limbs, like my arms, my legs, my torso, everything but like pretty much my head. So I'm actually lucky because there's people with MS that go blind. People can't breathe, people can't talk, and so I'm lucky in that aspect. Yeah. But that's pretty much like the MS journey kind of threw me off course. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it was to the point where I really hated life. Like my fiance at the time wasn't really helping. She was kind of making things worse. The whole family was
Mhm.
absolutely nuts, and it didn't help me. And what happened is she ends up telling me, oh, I haven't had my ring on for a week and you haven't realized, like, I have bigger problems to worry about. And then she's like, oh, I can't do it anymore, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I can understand that, whatever. So we'll split up. And she wanted me to stay. And I'm like, no, I'm calling my mom right now and she's gonna pick me up from here. I'm like, I can't deal with that. And I was still walking then. Like I was still able to kind of like crawl my way up the stairs and walk with a cane. But
Wow.
after everything happened with the breakup and going to my mom's and everything, I ended up having to use a wheelchair. So kind of now I'm stuck in this electric contraption. So that's nutty in itself because I find out all kinds of things about the electric wheelchair that I don't like, that people just have to deal with. Like I found out through some research that they haven't changed the design of it in 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, nuts. It's so
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Like for me, like I can feel things. I'm not paraplegic, I'm not quadriplegic. So it's different. I can't feel this feet. I can feel everything. Those type of people can't feel things, and that's where they get sores and stuff, but they can't
Yep.
feel the uncomfortableness of this chair. And it's just so bad. Like I've been trying to do stuff to, get the guy that sold it to me through the insurance to do stuff, but he's like, my hands are tied. I've told them things that they need to change, and it goes in one ear and out the other. So, yeah. But
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what I did is after I started living with my mom's like, you got to start getting more positive. You need to kind of start getting right with God again, and and trying to push me towards being a lot more positive. She has this outlook on life where the glass is half full. I'm the glass half empty kind of guy, unfortunately. So she kind of pulled me out of that whole funk, and I had stuff written down in my phone, and I ended up writing this book called Mile in My Shoes that I came out with about 3 months ago, actually. So I put this whole book together and everything, and I kind of made it the whole journey of my life and getting MS and then still talking about what life's like with MS. So it's like people that don't have a disability or anything like that, they'll still be able to relate to it because you can see what my life was like before the disability, and then you see what happens with the disability. So it kind of goes in chronological order for me.
Yes. And I think it's important that we talk about things like accessibility and, like you were saying, looking at things like the designs of chairs that people are literally in all day every day. um like that's
Yeah,
important, and
yeah,
a lot of people don't realize and or don't appreciate, this is something we were talking about on another podcast episode, that disability is the only minority that anyone can fall into at any moment. And
true,
you're such a true example of that. Like that
true.
was probably not something you were expecting, that diagnosis.
Nope, not at
Um
all.
and some people can even jump in and out, right? Because if you have a surgery, or you have something that knocks you out for a few weeks, a few years, a few months, whatever, but it affects everybody. As we
Yes,
get older, we need accessibility. We need things to be easy for us to access. We need ramps instead of stairs.
yeah,
Like when we're
it's
building our
true.
houses and things, we have to think about these things.
Right.
Because even when I was younger, my brother hurt his leg. And so I remember him struggling to get up the stairs. It's not
Ah,
necessarily, like you're like, oh, well, no old people live here. Well, that's not what we're talking about here.
yeah,
Disability can affect anyone at any time. And so we do have to talk more about these things, like you getting on this podcast and talking about your chair. That could, you never know who's listening, right? And
right,
someone could
right,
be like, you know what, I'm on the design team. Let's get him in here. Let's talk about
right.
what can make this better for other people. And so I commend you for that.
Thank
And
you.
yes, of course, I would like to disagree with you about you being a cup half empty kind of person.
Oh,
At least I want to say you're making progress on that, because it's
yeah,
very impressive to hear you say, you're like, oh, but I'm lucky that I have this instead of that. You're still like looking at something that you could be grateful for in this situation, and I have to commend you for that, because that's just a very powerful statement that you made.
oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I've been trying to be more positive about everything and trying having a nice outlook on everything,
Good.
and yeah, just going through and everything. One of my best friends, Evan, his father actually died of ALS.
Wow.
So I was worried. I was when I was getting diagnosed with this, since it was a neurological disease, I told my friend Evan, I said, if it's ALS, man, I'm done. I'm like, it's
That's scary.
there's nothing, there's nothing more to it, because what the final outcome of it is, and so I thank God that it wasn't ALS and that it was just something like MS. And at least I can get through certain things. It might be tough, but I mean, I'm always trying to get through things.
Yes. And that's amazing. That's incredible. Like I said, I commend you for that. Um, And then you mentioned something in the form, that you filled out to be on this episode.
Yeah.
um, you mentioned something about like you had to switch your career, and entrepreneurship became like something that you had to do. Like it wasn't just an option anymore. Like this is what you're doing now. Um, can you talk to me a little bit about that, and I guess like your mentality around that, and why you think it's so important um to be doing this, and maybe encouraging others who might not see, they're like, well, I'm stuck here now and there's nothing I can do. I can't, go to work in subway anymore because I
Yeah.
can't stand there. So what advice do you have for us in that case?
Well, I'll tell you, I've always been entrepreneurial. Me and my brother used to sell
Mhm.
things on eBay when we were kids, like when eBay first started back in the 90s.
I
And
remember.
yeah, so I mean, we've been doing that forever. We used to sell our sports cards at garage sales when my mom
Nice.
would have it, when her friends would have it. We used to go to all those sports card shows when they used to have them in the mall and all that. Always sold wrestling figures, sports cards, other action figures, anything that really can kind of sell on a secondary market. So the entrepreneurship's always been there. And I say I get it from my dad because he's a big entrepreneur with the way that he's lived his life, So what I did is I've kind of pivoted and I'm trying to do clothing. I'm working on making clothing right now. It's a brand called 55 Strong, and I'm making t-shirts, shorts, hats, all kinds of clothing, and it's kind of like Juggalo style clothing. So it's like ICP inspired and stuff like that. So like right now I've got a clown shirt on
Nice.
that's one of the designs that we've got up there. So and then like I'm working with my father right now actually to start a business that's going to be what it's going to be is him teaching business owners how to use the political system to keep money and understand what politics can do to your business because a lot of people don't understand politics and how it could affect their business. A lot of people don't understand what talking about politics out in the open can do to their business. So we are working on something with his business called the Cardinal Center, and we're gonna be coming out with a whole thing that he's gonna do videos like teach and stuff like that. Like he was a teacher he was an adjunct faculty at Georgetown University, Utica University. So he definitely knows what he's doing. He's been in the government work for like 58 years. So
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, he used to work in Washington when everybody used to get along. So yeah. So I mean, we're trying to do that. And then I'm still working on all my music because what happens is when I get into a zone about the stuff that I'm trying to do, I don't feel pain anymore. I need to constantly be doing something to be creative, to get my mind off the pain that I'm in. So honestly, like I have an album all about marijuana coming out on October 30th, 31st on Halloween. There's an album that I'm doing with my boy YC Rocks from Utica that's coming out on December 26th. Then I'm actually making an entire hip hop album about multiple sclerosis that's going to come
Wow.
out March 1st, Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. And I'm trying to get the word out about that because it's never been done. And it's not just necessarily about MS, but it's for people that face challenges
Right.
and hardships and stuff like that. Like, I don't like to tell people what songs mean. Songs can mean whatever they mean to you, you know?
That is amazing. And we will be on the lookout for those. Make sure you share the links and we could add those to the show notes down below.
Yes.
Um, Speaking of which, talk to us about staying in touch with you. What if we want to like get to know you more? We want to listen to your music. We want to see what else you're up to. How can we stay in touch with you?
Yeah, cool. The main hub is my website, b-cide.com, bside.com.
Nice.
Yep,
Perfect. And then
yep.
everything's available on there?
Yes, you can listen to my music on all the streaming services. You can buy CDs and DVDs if you want to support. I have pre-orders up for all the albums if you want to support, like through hard copies or whatever.
Love
So,
that.
yep, yep,
Yes, yes, let it make it come back. Oh my gosh, I think
man,
that's so important.
yeah,
Like having that digital media that you can open up, you can put
I
it,
know.
you own it, like
Yeah,
most importantly.
yeah,
Don't get me started. Anyway, I guess I'm preaching to the choir here.
you are,
But
you are.
okay, that's awesome. So make sure to check out the website. And as always, the links will be available down in the show notes. And before we do sign off, we like to end off with like your best piece of advice, like the best tip that you have, like the thing that your clients, when they pay you, they're like, oh, this was worth everything I paid you.
Mm, okay, yeah, never give up on yourself.
Mm,
It is definitely something that you always look forward. Don't look behind yourself. There's more in the future for you than the past. You can use the past to learn from, but the future is ahead, and you always have to look towards the future.
I love that. I love that so much. And um, using what you've got, right?
Yes, yes,
You are where you
absolutely.
are, and whatever I can do from
Absolutely.
here, I can do. So do that.
You got it.
I love that. That is fantastic. Well, thank you so much, dude. This has been
Uh,
absolutely wonderful.
Thanks a
And
lot.
yes, thank you. Thank you for being here
What are the
and for being
chances that you,
vulnerable.
yes, and what are the chances that you have a Hatchet Man tattoo?
That's crazy, right? I was literally
Yes,
18 when I got it. I remember it was in
I was
December.
I was 18 when I got mine. You probably can't even see it because I got so many, but yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yes. Well, it comes like, it's a small world, right? Like it
It
just comes,
is.
everything comes back full circle. So
For real, it does.
that is amazing. And thank you guys for joining us. This has been a great conversation. We will catch you next time on the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Bye. Thanks again for tuning in to Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Stay bold, stay grateful, and keep becoming your best you. For more information and resources from me, Nicole, head over to nicoletexberry.com/resources. See you next time.